All right, who's excited to deep fry turkey? First step, grab yourself a beer. Now, if you don't have beer, bourbon, whiskey, wine, cider, hard cider, these will all work. Because you're going to have to fight off strangers to get this equipment. And that would be this. You can see here I have this rack and these gloves, which are probably the most important part to protect your hands from my modeling career. But also a thermometer, seasoning, blah, blah, blah. Next, make sure you have that beer. Make sure it's filled up nice, because you're also going to need a burner, a pot, and propane if you don't have it. Also peanut oil. That's my liquid of choice to burn this bird. Now, grab that beer and head on over to your bird. Get to know your bird. This is going to be an intimate process. We got to take off that packaging, and we got to examine this bad boy. So, cue the music, turn down the lights, and take off her clothes. Now, once you do this, for me, I had this piece of plastic, or as I like to call it, the turkey bra. Now, I got to take this turkey bra out, as well as some components that are inside, which would be her delicate neck and also the liver, which I'm abusing as we speak with that beer. So next, what we're going to do is fill up that pot with some water. Now, there's no real science to this. I wouldn't use this tiny thing. I was just trying to give you an example. But you're going to want to do this so that you can measure out your oil. This will allow you to not burn down your house or wherever you are cooking this bird. Now, this is what it should look like on that rack. You should be understanding what rack I'm talking about. You take this rack and you're going to stick it into this pot filled with that water. Now, when we do this, again, we're going to look for that line, because that's the same line we're going to use to measure out our oil. Now, on this particular pot that I got from Home Depot, it was a complete setup, for, I don't know, under $60. But it had that line there to let me know the max amount of water that I could put in, the max amount of oil in which I was putting in there. And you're doing the same thing. I'm showing you this right now. Now, next step, pat down that bird. Make sure it's nice and dry. This will prepare us for the next steps, in which we're getting our syringe or injector, using that needle to put on top so we can poke around, and salted butter, of course. Now we head on over to our burner, or for me, in my case, the stovetop, and you're gonna melt that delicious butter. Now, this is a great time to fill up your drink. Make sure that it is filled. Check the level. Get back to the butter. Make sure that it does get melted. Now, we're gonna use half the butter for the injector. The other half we're gonna use to baste the bird in. We wanna lather that bad boy up. So first, fill up that syringe, that injector, put the needle on top. Now you're gonna wanna take this and you're just gonna wanna poke in there and fill that bird with delicious butter. As you can see, the butter is dripping off. And after I did this, I did wait a little while, even though this doesn't reflect that. I took another sip of my beer. Then I took the rest of the butter, like I mentioned in the previous step. Grab this beautiful brush. Hopefully you don't use that for painting. And you take that and you baste that bird. You cover it all over, because you're going to want to put seasoning that'll allow it to stick. Now, I used this everything bagel seasoning. You can use whatever you want. I also used salt and pepper. As you can see, it was a complete science and a beautiful display. Now, next step. What we're going to do here is we're going to get that oil, that 3 gallons. This is what I used. It was the perfect amount for the 30-quart pot, which is right there. Fill up the oil. Then I put on the lid, started the burner. Now remember, don't burn that down the house. When you do this, you do need propane. Put that bad boy on there. And now we're going to get our thermometer. Now you can see when I have this thermometer, I have a hole at the top. I'm just very easily dropping it in there. The thermometer usually also comes with a clip in which you could put on the side. And I turned it around so I could tell that the temperature was 325 is what you need. Now, this step, I actually had somebody help me out. I took the broomstick, which was made out of wood, not plastic. That is a crucial key here. And we slowly dropped in the bird, even though I sped it up. Now, I also had my glove there to take it off so I didn't burn my hands for my modeling career. 45 minutes is around the time that it took. That's what I believed that I was going to do, so I stuck to it. Now I'm showing you how the turkey is cooking. It's already smelling delicious. I checked my level of my beer, and then I get my friend to help me out again. We lift out that bird using that same broomstick, that magical broomstick. We let all the things drip off. Checked for tenderness, make sure that it's nice and crispy or the level of crispiness that you want it. And there is the bird. Look at that beautiful thing. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, like the video. Happy holidays.